Hey everyone, what's going on? Oyster Tea from Good Evening Aussie here, and I'm here to talk to you about the letter from the Producer Live part 54. Now, it was 5 a.m. in the morning, so I didn't get up for it. I tried to get up on Saturday morning, which would have been really stupid because it was Sunday morning, so thankfully I did go back to sleep, but here I am talking to you about it today. Going to go through little bits and pieces of it. I'm not going to go into too much detail about a lot of it. I am going to skip a lot of the Yoko Taro stuff towards the end. I'm just going to pick out what I feel are the pertinent points from that. So it was at Tokyo Game Show. There wasn't a live translation, so thank you to Aluna Minori as well as the other person who has done additional work on it, Miyuna. They are great when it comes to the translations. They're great when it comes to the live letter on Reddit and on Discord, and without them I would not be able to do what I do. Mr. Happy, Word to Game, people like that, they would not be able to do what they do either. So like I say, we're just going to go through. So it was a little bit of a stagnated live letter because it was in front of a live audience. It wasn't quite as normal in my opinion. It was a little bit different. New t-shirt available from Cafe 8 Ozia. And the patch 5.1 is going to be available October. So it's Vows of Virtue, Deeds of Cruelty, that's what it's called. A little bit of a longer title than normal. Things like Requiem of the Sun, Requiem for Heroes, sorry, was the latest one, and some of the other ones from Stormblood haven't quite been as long. Late October, so you're going to be looking at around the 22nd, 29th of October. Looking at when today is the 15th of September, so you're probably looking at another live letter in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to say right at the end of October, 29th of October would be my guess. They did mention 5.0 was a big hit worldwide. Massive praise for Final Fantasy XIV when it comes to Shadowbringers Odd 5.0, and especially the story. And they are going to continue the story, obviously, in 5.1. So we do get a new main scenario quest. I cannot remember what she is called, but she's one of the main characters in Shadowbringers. She basically helps us get to Mount Gulg. For those people who haven't got there, it is an amazing dungeon, Mount Gulg. Great theatre around it, and she's kind of one of the main reasons that we are able to get there. We're going to get the Pixies as a new beast tribe in Ilmeg. Lots of people were saying that they enjoyed the story around the Pixies. I did quite enjoy it. It was different, so it is going to be something that is going to expand on that, and we're going to find out a lot more. Obviously, we will get the new Mo, and we will also get the dwarves in the later patches as well. Also, we're getting Your Heart Dark Apocalypse, which we will talk about later. New 24-man raid, like we say, and you get one new dungeon in 8.1 patch. You can enter the dungeon with your trust. It doesn't say who, and it is going to be called the Grand Cosmos. So it looks... Some people say it looks very Yul Morin. It could well be Yul Morin. It could also be possibly around the Crystarium. I'm not too sure myself. I'm just going to push that a little bit further away because it keeps on getting to my eye line. So one of those things, it's good. It looks amazing. It does look really good. It's going to be interesting to see just how that kind of filters in. Extreme Trial, we know what it is. It's going to be the Dying Grass Extreme. Hades as is who the boss is going to be. They're trying to keep it secret just in case. And they also haven't announced the new Ultimate. So there is going to be a third Ultimate. It's going to come in 5.11, which is going to be 2 weeks after 5.1. So expect that mid-November. But they haven't said who it's going to be. The safe money's on either the Warren Triad or Alexander. So we'll see just which of those it is. We might, or I'd imagine we'll find out in the next live letter. They're sorting the final adjustments of that now. So we have already been told that there's going to be big adjustments for Ninja, Samurai, and Summoner. We've got a little bit of information further down towards the end of the live letter in terms of those. Ninja, we know there's going to be a Mudra rework. Summoner, they want to make it less busy, and Samurai just has some additional information that they need to sort of like sort out. They were saying Shoha is going to be one of the main adjustments, and like we say, Ninja will get a ninjutsu rework, basically the mudras. Summoner's going to be less busy. Potency adjustments across everything called potency adjustments. They are saying range will get slight increases, which is good for me. I do have a video in the pipeline about ranged DPS, me talking about them, what I think they are, because I have seen a lot of people saying that they're not very good, some people saying that they really enjoy them, so I just want to put my opinion out there and give my 2 cents. Nocturnal Astrologian will also get buffs. Blue Mage update, so level cap raised to 60, you're going to get new job quests as well as new Masked Carnival stages. A new feature called the Blue Mage Log, so you have to form a party with other blues and only blue mages to clear the content from the log. Every job will get more PvP action, so just increasing the PvP hotbars there. And that leads into the new frontline field, the Onzo Hokair, which is the, trying to see that, Onshin Nadam. Basically, as far as I can tell, it's just a massive version of the Nadam that you played through during Stormblood, which leads on to New Game Plus, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Crafters and Gatherers are getting a huge revamp. Massive revamp. So they are going to make it easier for people to get into. They want to get as many people into it, obviously because of the restoration of Ishgard. It's coming across both 5.1 and 5.2, so it's increasing the ease of entry for new players, adjustments to more complex systems and actions, UI changes to be more informative and easily accessible, and new content for avid crafters. So like we say, it's going to take two across there. So actions are going to be adjusted, additional actions will be removed, so just prune those hotbars, and new recipe tree display options. So when it comes to the actions being adjusted, a lot of macros now have kind of dumbed the crafting down to 1 button or 2 buttons. So it is just making it much easier for people to craft. The Japanese word for collectibles getting changed as well. Same pronunciation, just easier to read kanji. So just easier to read basically. Adjustments to quick synthesis. Certain items will always be gathered as collectibles. Adjustments to desynth as well. Quick synth success rate will be increased. Same with the gathering. Actions used to locate unsupported nodes will be automated. I can't quite. Items at unsupported nodes will not appear as unknown or be out of reach. Just easier to craft and gather basically going forward. Action stealth will be replaced with sneak, and you'll be able to use that while you're on a mount as well. And quick gathering will be added. Again, just adjustments to gathering rates and item yields. Elemental shard yields will be increased, and this is a big thing. So now you can see up here, it's not the greatest picture in the world. I'll just see if I made it a bit bigger. So not the greatest picture in the world, so that's my fault, nothing to do with the Luna Minori, that is me. So you've got a helm up here, and it basically breaks it down. So you need 2 of this item, 1 of this item, 1 of this item. To get this item, you need 4 of these and 4 of these. To get this one, 3 of them. To get 3 of them, you need 12 of these. And here, to get 2 of them, you need 8 of them and 2 of them. So it just breaks it down and gives you a bit more of an idea about how you can go about getting all the items. It saves you having to go to external sites. Yoshi P did say thank you for those, but you are going to be able to use in-game now. Ishgard Restoration is coming in 5.1. The speed of restoration will vary depending on the server you're on. You must work together to... let's just make this a bit bigger so I can see it a bit easier. Yeah, so content design for crafters and gatherers. Players must work together to build the foundation. Can't quite make that out. Contribute for a number of tasks, and progress will be based up on your world. Faster completion will be because you are eager. Even if you're not crafting and gathering, you will be able to do something. Your Jimbo Gate in the Gold Saucer, lots of mechanic dodging. Fellowships, which is kind of just a new a new way of contacting and keeping in touch with people. There's lots of information further down. You can have up to 1,000 people. No chat, but you do have sort of like notice boards. So it's just one of those things that if you have a fellowship where you want to just keep a lot of people together, so for events or costume contests, savage raiding contests, those kind of things, it just keeps everyone together without having to use Discord or link shells and things like that. Mahjong is getting a new UI update, a high resolution update. Performance, you can now play songs with people in a party, so everyone using different instruments, so you can basically form a band. New horn, as well as there will be a basically a performance assistant, so it'll teach you how to play the things. It'll give you the next button to press. It'll give you a metronome, so you know when to. They did joke that's turning into sort of like a rhythm game, so more Dance Dance Revolution rather than Final Fantasy 14. New launcher update. Not too much of an issue for me on PS4. I know that there are changes behind it on the PC because it's kind of like a website wrapped in a package, basically. I'm not too sure how it works on the PlayStation. Kaiser is a new custom delivery in Yulmar, I imagine. Pets are appearing in the party list again. I've just started leveling my Scholar, and there's a ton of times that I've thought I haven't got my EOS out, so I've resummed it and it's like, nope, already there. Weapons are going to be dropping in the 51 to 59, 61 to 69 and 71 to 79 dungeons from the last boss as a direct into your inventory thing. Bicolor gemstones going to 1,000. G-Pose allows you to focus on non-party members more, so minions. And meals can be eaten while sitting down now. So, New Game Plus. So it allows you to replay some story quests while having your current character level. So there's there's multiple bits that's going to let you play through. So it is going to let you play through. I'll see if I can find the screenshot. Yeah, so you might not be able to see it here. So you've got Heavensward Part 1, Heavensward Part 2, the Dragonsong War, and then the final bit of the patch. Stormblood Part 1, Stormblood Part 2, and so on and so forth. So it allows you to play through bits of the story that you didn't have to play through previously. So yeah, it's not the greatest picture in the world. That's my fault. Let's just see. Yeah, so it allows you to play through certain bits. So I'm sure somebody will come up and eventually realise where bits and pieces are. Just people might want to play them in a dam, people might want to play the Grand Melee, and you can play through certain parts of it at a time. You've got to go into New Game Plus through the main menu, and they did say, I'm sure later on, instance battles will be level synced. They're being just now, but you won't get any quest rewards, so you can't just go through them. Auto-saved, you get one save point, and you can switch to this new game mode while in a queue for a dungeon in normal gameplay mode, which is good because if you're DPS, you can go into a dungeon queue and then just sort of like skip back when it pops out. Fellowship, I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm sure lots of people will put lots of information up regarding the fellowships, questionnaire features, notice boards, just helps with all the keeping people together. One basic PSA announcement. 5.1 Garrow is ending, so if you're missing glams, mounts, make sure you get them before 5.1. They then talk about Nia in the second part, so they welcome Saito-san and Yoko Taro onto the stage. They kind of talk about basically they just talk a little bit about Yoha Dark Apocalypse. So the first part is going to be called the Copied Factory. So that's going to be the instance name. So they show you off some screenshots of the actual areas. So this is one of them. And then this is another one. So obviously very foreboding, very dark. They did show off some enemies that you would appear. So this guy with the giant claws. People who are versed in Nier might be able to tell me more information about that. That just looks like a giant box. But they did go into lots of detail about these drawings. They did kind of show. So that's what we'll see. But they then did talk about a lot of what's inside and what people will actually see. So it does seem to be that they're putting a lot of effort into the aesthetic of this to try and make it more Nier-like for that aesthetic point. They did show off a couple of screenshots of people in game, so there's some people in the actual game, so with the random crossbow bow, and this is the one that people are talking about a lot. So I think these aren't what people are talking about now that I've seen it. So some people have said on Reddit that there is a side quest up in Tomra in Calusia where a couple of dwarves talk about an abandoned machine graveyard. And people are saying, oh, maybe that is what plays into it, because you have two dwarves that go along, one dressed in white, one dressed in black. And people are saying that these two guys here are those two characters. I'll just make that a bit smaller just in case. My head's blocking the way of these two. I don't think it is. I think this is a Lalafell in caster gear and a Lalafell in healer gear. Or the other way around. And then it gives you a screenshot of the actual poster for the contents of Vows of Virtue, Deeds of Cruelty. So character here for the 24-man raid, and then you've got Derplander in his Dark Knight get-up. So bits and pieces of information about the job changes. So Ninja's module reprogram and the rotation is going to be repurposed. Samurai Shoha program changes along with rotational changes, and Summoner's busyness will be eased. DPS firepower adjustments acknowledge the problem about melees being too strong and ranges needing to be raised slightly instead of nerfing melee to make it comparable. They are looking at Bard. Devs are still figuring things out about Bard, so could be in 5.2 we see big Bard changes. Party utility feedbacks, they need to compare the feedbacks and see how they want to proceed with that. And Astral Origins Nocturnal stance is deemed hard to use compared to Summoner. Scholar, because Nocturnal is the shielding stance. It feels inferior, so they're going to adjust mainly on that. So they're kind of like all of the different things that's going to be happening inside the 5.1, and especially with Bard, possibly 5.2. Good Evening Eorzea is going to be back at some point. We're not quite too sure when. Mr. Murphy has things on at the moment. I have things on with my work as well. So it is just kind of like trying to get time to sit down and actually get the podcast back on track. I am going to be putting some content out about ranged DPS, Bard, Dancer, as well as Machinist. And we will be doing content when it comes to 5.1 when we get more details about that. But thank you for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe below. Until next time, goodbye.